Hello again. We are set to start franchise mode for 2023. As you can see, we have chosen the Diamondbacks to go with this time. I just like their farm system and just kind of the overall look of the team. So I think they're a year or two away from contention, but they will be fun to use in a franchise mode. So that's what we're going to do. In this video, we are just going to kind of talk through the setup for the franchise mode, and then we'll actually dig into the changes that I made for the team itself. So on that note, let's start. Obviously, we have the Diamondbacks that we're going to be. The one change that we are making, though, is we are moving the Athletics to Vegas. So per the polling, the one set one out. So this is what we're going to do. We have the Las Vegas Vipers, and for the home jerseys, so as I kind of mentioned, we're going with the Las Vegas Knights kind of theme. I like the idea of teams having professional teams in the same city, kind of having the same color schemes, kind of like Pittsburgh does. So it's kind of the theme that we're going for here. So it's not perfectly matched, but it's pretty close. So here's your home jerseys, just the white normal. Not bad. And then for the aways, we got the dark blue and the gray. So that's the color scheme for them. Yep, so that's that. Also of note, I am going to be the Mariners in this franchise as well. But the primarily everything is going to be with the Diamondbacks. I just kind of have them just because I like them, and there's still some things that I want to see with them. They do have their City Connect jerseys coming out in May, so kind of want to see those too. But yeah, so primarily we're just going to be the Diamondbacks, and then we might just see how the Mariners do and maybe play some games throughout the year as them as well. Just some cool series, or if they make the playoffs, because they'll probably make the playoffs before my Diamondbacks team does. But yeah, the first year is kind of some more simulating, just to kind of get into year 2 and 3, where I think the Diamondbacks will start contending. So that's that. And then obviously, with the new team in Vegas, we obviously have to do the new ballpark. So, of course, Vegas is getting a new ballpark. What it'll be is DraftKings Park. So this is kind of the updated version of the stadium from the video that I did. I just kind of optimized it for actual playing. So just removed the buildings from the back so that I could actually do some more to the beyond the wall. So we've got our concourse, and then I updated a lot with the backdrop of it. So we've got our new Vegas backdrop with the little pool and the walkways and the trees and the palm trees and all that. Updated the concourse a little bit. We're able to get a little more in there. So that's looking a little different. Changed the color of the seats to actually match the team, and then fixed some of the nighttime lighting so that it actually looks better at night. It was kind of dark before, as you probably saw. So this is going to be the batter's eye, and then if you switch to night, I have it so that's all lit up too. So it's a lot better looking at night now too. But yeah, so that will be Obviously not Diamondbacks themed, but this will be the Vegas ballpark that we'll play in. So, yeah. Probably be able to tell some things that have changed between the video and this. We got the name up there officially now. Switched some of the box seating in the corner. Added more to the concourse, and then did all the stuff with the outside of it. So that'll be that one. And then on the same note, we're going to give the Diamondbacks a new ballpark too. Same kind of thing. I did the initial video showing that ballpark, but now we actually did the same thing where we optimized it for actual gameplay and then actually gave it a name. So their new ballpark will be named Kyocera Energy Field. I just kind of looked at bigger companies in Arizona and based it on that, and that was the one I came up with. Originally, I had PetSmart because I think that's the biggest company that has a headquarters in Arizona, in Phoenix, but decided that it was a little too close to Petco Park, so this is the new Phoenix ballpark. I actually did a lot more with this one once I optimized it for gameplay. So tore out the building again, tore out all the stuff back here because you can't actually see that in game, and that allowed me to do a lot more inside. So we changed up the decks here, so we added some more box seating there, lowered and switched out the stands in left field, switched out the box seating down here, added a lot more to the concourse, switched the concourse materials to make it a little bit different. So that's the new concourse. Added some more stuff to the backdrop back here, and then with both this one and the Vegas ballpark, we got the retired numbers in there. So those are in there as well. And same thing, we fixed the nighttime look. So the backdrop's gonna be a lot more lit up. And then, yeah, did the same thing where I changed the color of the stands in this one to match the team a little bit better too. So this will be the new ballpark in Arizona. I have not decided if I'm going to make it immediately available to them in 2023 or if I'm going to kind of keep to a storyline and have them move in like 2024 or something and still play out the games at their current ballpark. But yeah, that'll be the new one there. So we'll go with that. So now that we've gone through kind of the setup to the franchise itself, let's talk a little bit more about what I've actually done with the rosters to go into 2023. The first thing I'll mention is that with the Mariners, I reverted the Jesse Winker and Colton Wong trade. So you'll see why. But what that did is put Colton Wong back on the Brewers, and then back to the Mariners went Abraham Toro and Jesse Winker. So that's kind of that's the only thing that I reverted, but you'll see where that kind of plays into in a little bit here. So in rebuilding the rosters, I think the Diamondbacks have some good players, but I think their contention window is probably starting in 2024 and 2025. So you have guys like Corbin Carroll and stuff that came up at the end of last year, but they still have some on the way with like Lawler and some other pitchers. So I think that's kind of their overall That's their overall window of contention. So that's kind of what I was basing this on. And with that, we'll kind of go through some of the trades that I made. There's a few. And the big one is kind of the first one. All right, so the first one, if you know me from my franchise in 2022, you know that I love Zach Gallen and Ketel Marte, and I really wish that the Mariners would have gotten both of them. So in my franchise last year, I made a pretty hefty trade for Gallen and Marte. That brought them on the team before they actually got Castillo. So I traded a bunch of those prospects to Arizona in return. But still know that my love for Gallen made this one hurt a little bit. But the logic here, Gallen has 3 years of control, I think, left. And he is young, but kind of going towards that, thinking of next year being their start of contention. I thought that this was kind of a good trade to make, and this is how it ended up. So we have Gallen for Gorman, Liberatore, and Mason Wynn. You'll kind of see why I'm doing what I do. So Gorman and Liberatore both have a lot of control left. They're both rated in the 70s. And they kind of fit into the long-term plans. So Gorman with the idea that he can play either second base or third base long-term. Liberatore gives us a lefty starting pitcher that has like 6 years of control. And then Wynn is a young shortstop, but we'll see what happens there. And this is the logic behind that, because then what we did after that is we traded Mason Wynn and Andrew Chafin to the Braves for Ian Anderson and Lutke. The idea here is Anderson is like their I think he's like number 8 on their depth chart right now, so they don't really need him. But in our eyes, he's rated 72 overall. I liked him in his rookie year, and he's only 24 with a lot of potential. So, and a lot of control. So that kind of fits in with our idea that we're contending in a couple of years, and he fits in perfectly with that. He can take over for Gallen. I think in my rotation right now, I have him as a number 3, but the idea is that he can be our ace of the future. Same with Liberatore, kind of the righty-lefty combo there. And then Wynn gives them a long-term shortstop too. So that's kind of the idea. The relievers just kind of offset each other, but so that's that one. One more thing to add to the previous one, I actually traded for I also traded for Hicks, the reliever from the Cardinals. That was just a smaller trade, but just to kind of get him into the bullpen with the idea. I mean, throws 100 miles per hour, so just kind of a big arm in the bullpen. Could be back end of the bullpen too. He doesn't have, I think he only has 1 more year of control, but he's still young, so he's somebody that we can re-sign and still potentially work in as a closer going forward. So that is the idea there. And then our last trade, obviously, probably saw it coming. A big one with the Mariners. So we sent Marte, Mantiply, and Beer to the Mariners in return for Harry Ford, Toro, and Evan White. The idea here is I liked Marte for the Mariners, so I think I liked him better than the Wong fit. So, so we got a switch hitting second baseman there that's under contract for the same amount of time as J.P. Crawford. Mantiply gives them a big lefty arm out of the bullpen, which they don't have, especially once they traded their lefty specialist to the Blue Jays. And then you got Seth Beer, who's a lefty first baseman that kind of gives a good alternative to Ty France. So just in case. And then in return, we got Harry Ford. So we got our catcher of the future. They have Raleigh, so they're kind of set there for a while. And they also have a backup, and a very good backup at that. So, and then we took on Toro. Toro gives us kind of the switching infield bat that can kind of play the corners and second base. So he's kind of a good bench bat utility guy for the Diamondbacks. And then Evan White doesn't really have a place with Seattle, but Diamondbacks have Walker, and Walker's 32, so he's still really good. But I also view Walker as a potential trade chip to get a couple more pieces. So Evan White kind of gives us a guy with some potential that can take over long term potentially. If not, and he's terrible, then he's not super expensive. So that is the logic there. All right, so where does this leave us? We made a couple of additions to the bullpen. Just kind of got some veterans to fill out the bullpen. But this is where it leaves us. So starting lineup, you got pretty fast outfield, actually. Pretty solid outfield. So you got Carroll in left, McCarthy in right, and then Thomas in center. Gorman's kind of our third baseman for now. Then we have him switching to second base for lefties, and then Longoria playing. So got Walker as the power in the middle. Kelly, Ahmed is there until Lawler comes up, and then you got a bunch of Toro, Moreno, Longoria, and Kyle Lewis to kind of fill out the DH role. That's where that stands. And then pitching rotation, we still have Merrill Kelly and Bumgarner at the top. Probably look to Merrill Kelly's another one of those that probably trade, but we need someone to eat up some innings until our younger guys come up. So kind of have Kelly and Bumgarner up there, and then Ian Anderson, Liberatore, and Zach Davies kind of finishing out the rotation. Jameson's my long-term guy, long relief guy. He could fill in the rotation once Davies is gone, though. You got your middle relief, Melankin, Hicks, Leckie, and Sulzer. And then Nelson and Nebel are our setup guys, and then we picked up Giles. So we'll see if he can close. Otherwise, Hicks might be a guy. Otherwise, we have Melanson too. So that's kind of the roster there. We've got some guys coming up still. So yeah, two guys in AA, single A. They'll be up probably a year or two. And they'll kind of hopefully fill in. Same with Nelson. We got Nelson. He just struggled heavily in AAA, or in spring training. So we sent him down to start the year. But he's one that can probably fill in too and get called up once we figure out what to do with Kelly and Bumgarner. And then we've got Harry Ford, who could be up in a year or two. We also have Moreno. White's in there as kind of a backup. We got De Los Santos too. Still looking for a second baseman. There's a couple of guys I have my eye on, but just haven't found the right trade for them yet. Gorman, long-term third baseman. We got Lawler and Bliss as some middle infielders. They should be up. And then our outfielders are kind of up already, so minus Drew Jones. yeah, that kind of fills out our Diamondbacks roster. Going to the Mariners side of things, we kind of already know what their pitching rotation is going to be like. Pretty much the same, and then the difference is Mantiply fills in with the setup role along with Munoz. And then Seawald is our closer for now. And offensively, with Marte coming over, we'll go Julio Marte, France. Outfielder, kind of what you expect. Raleigh, and then we have Winkers, our DH, too. So, keeping him around, and then we've got the platoon of Kelnick and Pollock in left field. With the pretty solid bench, too, of guys that we can go to. Yeah, that's kind of where it leaves off with the two teams, and that's what we did. Our first series is in LA for the Diamondbacks, so that'll be the next episode, is the results of that 3-game series. So enjoy, welcome to the Diamondbacks franchise, and let's go.